Good morning. Today we're talking about how to understand nutrition labels. It's going to be really empowering if you are either trying something new or if you're not using a food tracker app that automatically tracks it for you. But even if you do use a tracker app, it's still good to know how to understand labels because if you're shopping for something, it's easy to just check it, see if it fits your criteria of what you want to be eating. And then either choose to buy it or not buy it. So, a couple things we're going to be going over. I'm going to use this, can't really see it because it's backwards, I think, but we'll explain it. Okay, so a couple different things. First of all, serving size. It's found right here. So, the thing with serving size is, so the serving size obviously in this is going to be one patty with these chicken patties. But if you're using something like pasta or some type of dressing, the serving size could be a tablespoon or 2 tablespoons, and then you have the nutrition facts listed based on that serving size. So everything listed here is going to be based on the serving size of 1 tablespoon, 1 patty, 2 tablespoons, depending on what it is, so that when you go to put the dressing on your salad and you use 3 tablespoons, these are going to be times 3. So it's important to note what the serving size is for each thing that you're looking at so that you're not skewing your numbers. Second part is calories. It's a very large, the largest portion of the nutrition label. So these are total calories per serving, okay, again. Then right below that is going to be your total fat. Total fat is split into saturated fats and trans fats. So total fat in this is going to be 6 grams, okay? And then you go down to saturated fat, which is 1 gram, and then trans fat is 0. So trans fat is not good. Avoid trans fat. Saturated fat is not as bad. There's some debate about whether it's not good for you, but whether it's, not as bad for you as trans fat. But then you can see, I don't know if you can see, but the total fat says 6 grams, and the saturated fat says 1 gram, and then the trans fat is 0. So where is the other 5 grams of fat? That's actually not listed, and those fats are going to be polyunsaturated and monosaturated fats, which are good fats for you, or a couple other things that are all in that category, but because they're generally pretty minor or pretty small, they're generally not listed under here. So there's a difference between the total 6 grams and the 1 gram. Those 5 grams that are missing are actually better for you fats than the trans and the saturated. So, moving on to cholesterol, that's something to pay attention to. If you have high cholesterol, it does come, it's in things like eggs. You don't have to pay too much attention to it unless you are watching your cholesterol. Sodium is going to be salt. You want to watch that. The percentages right here on this side are going to be of your daily value based on a 2,000 calorie diet. So, you generally don't want to be eating something that has 50% sodium of your daily value. That's just probably not going to be a good idea. So, try to keep those, be mindful of those. Next, you have your carbohydrates. So, total carbohydrates. This one says 4 grams. Okay. Underneath that, there's dietary fibers and total sugars, and then it also has a section that says added sugars. So added sugars is going to be sugars that are added in during the processing, like the processing of the food, which are not naturally occurring sugars. So those need to watch. Total sugars can, if you have, let's say it's 10 grams of sugar, and 8 grams of added sugar. That means there's only 2 grams of naturally occurring sugars. So you want to make sure that the added sugars is as low as possible. And then right above that is going to be a dietary fiber. So fiber is actually not able to be absorbed by the body, and so it is actually really good for feeling full, satiating. I can never get that word right. It helps you to feel full, so the higher fiber is good. And because it's not absorbed, if you're looking for your net carbs, it's going to be the total carbohydrates, 4 grams, minus the fiber, 1 gram. So it's 3 grams of net carbs. which is the carbs that can actually be absorbed by your body. And then you get down to protein. So protein, super important. Obviously, I like to have as much protein as possible in everything that I eat. I try to shoot for, a good rule of thumb is to shoot for about 1 gram per pound of body weight, of lean body weight, not total, but lean body mass. The only thing to watch with protein is sometimes if you have high protein, that can also mean you have high fat. And fat's something that you want to watch that generally you don't want to have too much of, because once it gets past a certain point, fat does not necessarily benefit you anymore because your body can only use so much of it before it stores it. So ideally, if you're wanting to lose weight, you don't want to have too much fat. You do need it because it does help regulate your hormones and things like that. But watch the protein. This one has 27 grams of protein and 6 grams of fat, which is awesome. Chicken, so it's very lean. But when you get into things like sausage and some ground beefs, not really, because they've gotten a lot better about making them leaner. But sausage and things like that can sometimes be high in protein, but also high in fat. So that's something to watch. And then down here is going to be different vitamins. I don't necessarily pay too much attention to those because I try to get my vitamins in, through vegetables, whole foods, things like that, that generally are very high in vitamins like that. Processed foods are going to be on the lower end of the vitamins anyways, so I try to aim to have a good chunk of what I eat be whole foods, which are going to have all those vitamins naturally occurring in them. So I don't have to necessarily try to make sure that the foods that I eat with nutrition labels have all that vitamins in them. But hopefully that was helpful for you to understand.